What's up, YouTube? Ooh, ooh. Talk about a project. So we've been working on this SKR 1.4 board for a while, and someone goes, "Hey, how about this Wi-Fi little chip?" So we got this little Wi-Fi dongle that you can add. It's like $7 on the Amazon. Gives you Wi-Fi capability. Let's actually hop over to the Wi-Fi section here. So let's see here, screen capture. So yeah, so this is the Wi-Fi stuff. You can do things like move the axes. So this is kind of like Pronter Face. You can send commands. So if you want to do like an M503, you can see all your settings and your M122. Check your TMC driver stuff. So you've got all these, fancy, things you can do. You can access your SD card files. You can change your flow live. So it basically gives you a very crude Duet web UI. You have more printer configurations here all spelled out, so you can change little things, your PID settings. So it just makes it a little bit easier. But getting to this point was a chore, and I have the GitHub set up with a section for the ESP-01S Wi-Fi add-on. And it's got the firmware update stuff and the start here and some pictures on how to do everything and all that fun stuff. I'll let you guys go through that. Even has the firmware all ready for you, so there's a bin file. You do need these other 4 files. Unfortunately, this setup I can't do live completely that well because, if I disconnect this computer to connect to the Wi-Fi on the printer, when I'm doing the setup, because it sets as a its own station that you have to connect to in the beginning, so you can upload the firmware and everything. Until that's done, I can't just log in. So, it's a really fun process. So, let's go ahead and turn the screen capture off. Let's put the main back on. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a neat little setup here. You can see from my screen here. So if I go to overhead, you can see that I'm connected. That's the IP address I set in static, so that way it doesn't change every time. So it will show up if it's working correctly. If it's not working correctly, it will not show up. So but yeah, you can upload G-code via SD, but it is via serial. So that means anything over a meg is gonna take a long time to upload. I mean, it'll get there, but it might be like a while. Nothing that's really quick. So basically this is just great for monitoring. And the way I'm setting this up is so you can use both the Wi-Fi module and the USB ports. That way you can connect to it via Octoprint still if you want to, or just connect to it via your computer so it doesn't kick you out on that. But the easy stuff is the firmware in the Marlin firmware. The hard stuff is after that. So let me disconnect the dongle here. So this printer already has a dongle. I have this little extension cable just so I can get to it and stuff and make it easier. But we're going to remove this from the printer. So let's power down. And let's pull this out. And let's go ahead and plug in the new dongle. And we won't boot up just yet. So let's go ahead and get to the easy stuff. Let's go to the Marlin. Let's hop over here to Marlin. We'll do that stuff, and then we'll get to the hard stuff. So here we are. Hey, Tristan, how's it going? So, I mean, Duet was actually pretty quick. I haven't tested anything over a meg, but the regular stuff was pretty crazy slow. But no, I don't want to take a survey. So setting up in firmware is easy. We're going to start in config.h. So we're in configuration.h. All you have to do here is change your define serial port to 3. So your first port's going to be 3. You leave this at -1. So this enables the Wi-Fi port. This enables the USB port. And you have to have your baud rate at 11.5200. If you don't have it 11.5200, it won't work. So these are the 3 things that have to all work in this. And I have this all labeled in a nice little cheat sheet on the GitHub. So yeah, but yeah, 3 on the serial port, -1 on the serial port number 2. So Wi-Fi, USB, and 11.5.200. That's all you got to do on this one. Next is going to configuration advanced.h. And all we have to do is define ESP-3D Wi-Fi support. Again, that's all you have to do. You don't have to do any of this Wi-Fi SSID stuff or whatever nonsense. The hard part was finding a file because you have to change one of the UARTs to enable UART 3, which is the fancy port where the Wi-Fi chip is. So let me show you I did that. So we're going to jump over to Windows here. And all I did was go to this is my PC, and I searched for hardware serial.h. And once it found, I just right-click on it, and I go open with, and I open with Visual Studio Code, which will hop me over here. So here's hardware serial.h. And then here's what we have to change. So this is our UART 3 here. So this is where all that stuff is. And my value is already plugged in. I've already done this. So your function number is going to be 3. Your pin number is going to be 28. Your port number is going to be 4. And your pin number is going to be 29. That's all you got to do. I don't know what the original values are. I've already changed it, so I can't go back. But when you open this up, you'll have different stuff. I think it's all zeros or something like that. So, and that's it. I mean, that's all you have to do in firmware. So again, in firmware, configuration.h, you're going to change the first serial port from 0 to 3. That enables the Wi-Fi port. You will define serial port 2 as -1, which defines your USB port, so that way you can use Wi-Fi and USB. So if you were to just put port 2 as 3, you can then no longer use your USB. So yeah, you can't do that. And just make sure the baud rate is 11.5.200. In configuration advanced.h, just define ESP-3D Wi-Fi support. You don't need to mess with any of this stuff. And then using the technique I showed you, which is just searching your computer for hardware serial.h, you will change that right here. I think I have directions how to find it manually in the guide. So if we hop over to the guide here, there's a start here. And yeah, so it's in users, platform IO, blah, blah, blah. So you can search for it. That was just faster for me. I mean, I just let it search, and then I messed around, and once I found it. So these are your 4 changes you're going to do. Everything with line numbers. Again, everything with line numbers. I got you right here on the GitHub. I even got pictures here. I mean, they're going to be super huge, but here's the pictures. You can see the areas I changed. So 3, -1, baud rate 11.5.200. So I got you there. The GitHub should get you going, but this video is going to be a little bit better. And then you would compile this, and it should compile. I mean, I just undid my changes from this firmware and then just added them back, so it'll compile. You might get some little yellow hazards, but it works. The real fun part is making the USB stick work, which is always fun. So we don't even need to wait for that to compile. I'm going to go back to looking at me. Let's go back to me. So main on. We're back to me. So, I mean, that was it. That's all you have to do in Marlin to make this work. Now, as you can see, I have a laptop right here because without this laptop, I won't be able to actually access this. So screen capturing this is going to be interesting. So I'm going to try to hold the camera that I have over here. I have a little tiny Logitech that I was using to show you the screen. But I'm going to highlight this bad boy, and we can see how well this works for showing you how to do this part, because I can't access it from here, because if I leave the Wi-Fi, then I won't be able to show you this live stream. So, choices had to be made. So just remember, the next thing you do after you install the firmware. So again, yeah, you finish making the firmware, you put it on the SD card, you run it, you then hook up the little dongle. The dongle's here. I got another one right here. So there's a dongle. Again, it's already pinned exactly the way it needs to be. I'm just using a extender so that way I can get to it easily, because I have to move a bunch of stuff and I don't want to accidentally disconnect anything. So the extender you don't need. I just have the extender because that's what I did. So I have the fresh one with no firmware installed onto it. So let's go to the next step, which is setting up the firmware on there. So Let me boot this up. And we'll watch the screen. And it's not going to tell me. It's going to say, hey, welcome to, you know, regular old Marlin, and the little let me see here. Is it show? Yeah. So let me show you what it's saying. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's go to the screen here. Boom. So you can see it's broadcasting at 192.168.0.1. So that means our dongle's working, and that's where we access it from. So this is where I need to go to my computer that has not the same Wi-Fi connection as the fancy computer over here. And I need to go and let me show you what I'm doing here. Come here, overhead camera. It's going to be super awkward. And let's go to overhead on. So we're going to hop over here, and we're going to connect our Wi-Fi to the ESP-3D. That's step one. Welcome to my dusty Mac screen. And this is going to pop up. It's going to say portal, whatever, connecting to, and boom, here we are. So we're going to go ahead and hit cancel on that. And we're going to type in 192.168.0.1. And we're going to hop over, and here we are. This is just the blank ESP chip. So I've already gone to the GitHub. So if we go to the GitHub and we go to, I got to refresh this. This is the old version of the GitHub. I've added things, and I can't connect the server, so I can't show you anyway. But yeah, here it is. So you go to the Wi-Fi add-on. I've got the firmware in there. So we will go to choose files, because we have to add some files to this file system. So we're going to go to downloads. Let me move the camera up. We'll go to downloads here. And we're going to go to this master download file I found, firmware. And let's see here. Where'd it go? Did I not install it on here? Oh, here it is. Nope. There's the new master. Firmware, ESP. Yep, okay, we found it. Let me get that out of the way there. So as you can see, we've got this fancy ESP driver stuff, this 404. So we need to add all these files. So choose. So we've added these 4 files. We're going to upload those 4 files to the board. Boom. Uploading 100%. Of course, it won't show me anything, but uploading 100%. Let's hit refresh. Maybe that helps. Yep. So there we go. And then we're going to choose a file. And our firmware is going to be this, the ESP-38.bin. Choose. And we're going to hit... Oh, actually, wait, this is wrong. Delete that one. We don't need that. My bad. Choose files. You only need the HTML, the icon, and the HTML.z. You only need those 3 files. Don't upload the bin to it. So we'll try that again. That's why it was giving me a weirdness. I was like, firmware is fully occupied. No, so you just need these 3 files in there. So the 404, the fave icon, and the index whatever. We're going to choose our firmware, which is the bin file here. So choose your ESP3D.bin. Choose. And we're going to hit update. And, of course, confirm update. And it's going to upload it and do the updating. And it says update canceled. That's fine. It does that. And it says restarting. I just hit refresh. So it worked. I know it said canceled, but it worked. So we choose our language. Start setup. Printer's firmware base is going to be Marlin. Set. Our baud rate to our printer is 115200. Set. You can define my name. So this is my, I'm just going to call this test for now. Set. Continue. We're going to change from access point to client station. Set. And then we need to choose the access point. So we can search for our access point. It's going to find our Wi-Fi. So we need Bill Y the Science Fi. Set. And then we need to enter the password. So let me go ahead and move to the main camera so I can type in my password, which is a very long password. which I've changed just for this, but you guys don't need to know. Let's see. I think that's, yeah. And then continue. And then we're going to move back to the screen. And we'll move back to overhead. And that's all of it. And then hit close. And here we are connected to the screen. And go back to here. Let me make sure that there isn't going to be anything secretive shown here. Yeah, it does show the password, so I'm just going to delete that. So here we go. Okay. Delete the password. Web port 80, blah, 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 hostname test, client station. Here's what we need to change. So I like to have a static IP. So you're going to go to the station static IP and type something in. My network is 192.168, so 68.170. Yeah, we'll go 160. I believe 161 is open. 68.161. Set and set. And that will do it. That's all we have to do in here. We'll go back to the main camera, turn the overhead off. And that's what we're doing in there. I mean, this thing is actually pretty easy once you get to that point. So let's go back to the overhead on. Oh. There we go. Overhead on. So you can see updates 100%. So it's actually keeping track of what's going on, which is cool. Let's go ahead and put my password back in. Okay, good, good, good. I'm going to hit the... Where is it? Oh, this is the stupid buttons here. Set, set, and... Okay, and then I got to restart now that I've set it. Restart ESP-3D. See if anything changes over here. There we go, connecting. Connected. Oh, it gave me a different IP address. 161 might have been taken. I don't know. So I did it before. Keep going. Keep going. And restarting is now completed. Even though it's showing me an IP address on the screen. This is, by the way, this is a very painful experience setting this thing up because there are things I'm changing that I've never changed before. There's things that just, yeah. So 192.168.68.138. Hey, it worked. All right. Let's head over to the main. And let's head over to the internet. So let's go to screen capture. So here we are. We're going to go to 192.168.68.131. Enter. And it should take a second. Hopefully that was the right one. I can't see it anymore. Come on. You can do it. Oh, it's 138. Ha ha. Ha ha. There we go. So here we are. And yeah, we can control things. So let's see if it works. So I'll send a command, M503. Yep, we are connected and working. And you can do things like go into your printer, you can refresh, and you can change all your fancy stuff. So that's it. That's how it works. So let's go back to the main camera. And yeah, that was it. That's how you make that module work, and that will work on the SKR 1.4 and the 1.4 Turbo. I have no idea if I'll work on any other ones. I've only tested it on this printer and one other printer, and it worked. That's how you do it. I mean, it's kind of neat. Yeah, very basic controls. You can send stuff. I mean, let me send a file. So let's go back to screen capture here in a second. Let's go send a file and just see how bad this is. So screen capture's back on. Refresh. You can always see what's on the SD card. And let's see here. Where do I keep those? I think I keep that in this PC, and I think it's in storage B. Nope, storage A. There it is, 3D printing, and to print. And another thing is it doesn't like the G code part. You have to change it to .gco. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's hop over to this window. Oh, I guess this window's free. So we'll go over here to this PC and A, printing, and to print. Let's see if there's a model in here that's not huge. 40 millimeter G code is that many. What we got here? This is BMG. All right, 10,000 kilobytes. Anything bigger? There we go. The Judge Dredd bust. So we'll change the to .gco. Yes. And then we'll hop back over here. That's one of the things I know that needs to be changed. Oh, yeah, okay. So Judge Dredd, GCO, open. Oh, it's got to use DOS names. So you got to figure that out. So whatever. Other than that, I mean, it works. So, I mean, I can extrude. I can move axes. So let's go to the main camera again. And I can change stuff like, oh, you know, let's move the Y. Does that work? Yeah, look at that. The Y moves. I can home the X-axis. So, yeah, I mean, you can do anything you want. So, it's kind of cool. It works. I hope this video helps people that are trying to install this crazy chip that gives you Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi, actually, I've had this printer running for 3 or 4 days straight now with the Wi-Fi, and it's never disconnected. It works. I can check it from my phone. So, I mean, it's stable. It's nice. And it's just a little tiny thing, and my router's upstairs. So, I think I showed like 90% strength, so whatever it's doing it right. So I hope that's it. Anybody have any questions before I disappear? I just want to do, and this is probably my most stressful video. Oh, I do want to do a shout out to Ang Chan Yong. He's the gentleman on the Big Tree Tech forum who shared how to do this. Because I literally checked every GitHub. I checked Google. There is no video on setting up this specific chip on that board. And I even asked Chris Riley, and he did the same things that I would have checked, like, is the baud rate correct? Is the cables plugged in correct? And I was like, I can't plug them in wrong. I did check. But yeah. So that gentleman on the Big Tree Tech forum, you, sir, are a champion and a scholar, because he shared the stuff that made it happen. It just wasn't written out to where I could understand it. I'm a visual person. I know a lot of people are visual people, so hopefully this visual video of actually walking through it helps slightly, if not very much, for future reference. So, yeah, other than that, I'm going to go disappear. XFL is on, so I'm going to go watch some football. It was really good last week. Let's hope they do good again this week. Other than that, enjoy having your little thing, have your little dongle thing working on your SKR board. So enjoy that. Go print some things. I'm going to go print some things. I actually am printing things. There's printers running, which is great. Now that this thing is done with that, the next step is to making the Power Panic board work. So this has a bunch of capacitors on it, so it stores enough juice to power your Power Panic when your power goes out. So, yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, Facebook search worked, Natalia, because I typed in SKR ESP-01S, and I literally got, like, everyone saying they can't get it to work. And there's two guys. There's, like, Sergey and Ang. And they were the only two people got it work, and they both kind of, like, spelled out how to do it. But it was things like I couldn't even find that hardware serial file. I was like, oh, it changed. Yeah, I can change that. Where is it? So finding it was the hard part and that stuff. So hopefully this makes it a little bit easier for everyone. I'm going to go and watch the football now. I'm going to have some peeps come over. We're going to eat snacks and watch foosball. And again, it was actually really good. So if you haven't watched the XFL, it's actually last week was really good. I think I'm a New York fan right now. That team was doing, they looked, I mean, they're better than my hometown Bears. So that's how good they looked. So yeah, enjoy. Stay out of trouble, guys. We will talk to you all soon. And happy